You lost good. Wow.
How'd you get here?
Imagine you're watching someone try to breathe underwater without any equipment. They're trying really hard. They're motivated. They have practiced. They're giving it maximum effort. And they are fucking failing because humans can't breathe water. Now imagine saying to them, just try harder. There's need more practice. You're not committed enough. The advice is useless. Worse, it's cruel. Because the problem cannot possibly be effort or practice. The problem is ontological. Humans are a kind of creature that breathes a kind of thing, air. Asking a human to breathe water is not asking for good performances. It's asking for them to not be human. This distinction between performance problems and ontological problems sounds silly, but it's actually something that's incredibly common, more than you may think. A performance problem is where you're doing the right kind of thing, but not as well as you could. The intervention is generally more practice, a better technique, good advice, increased effort. With work, you have the chance to improve. But an ontological problem is where you're doing a fundamentally different kind of thing than what's needed, and no amount of practice at the thing turns into the other thing. Interventions here are not more effort. It's recognizing transformation is required. Not getting better at X, but becoming a different type of process altogether. And most problems, we treat them as performance problems. Students that struggle with reading, they run into this the worst. They need more practice. Do you have an employee that's missing deadlines? Well, they need better time management. A relationship failing, they need to communicate better. These are possibly ontological problems. The student might be doing categorically different cognitive operations than fluent readers. Practicing doesn't build towards fluency. The employee might have a job structured in a way that makes deadlines literally impossible, not difficult, fucking impossible. No amount of time management can change the structure of a job. A relationship may have a fundamental incompatibility that communication never can bridge. When you apply performance solutions to ontological problems, you're going to get a pattern, specific pattern. Endless effort without progress. A person will try, and they may get incremental improvements. Maybe. But they'll never break through to a new level because that breakthrough requires a qualitative shift. An effort in that current mode just can't produce that. It's the difference between walking really fast versus running. Walking faster is quantitative improvement, more speed within the same mode, walking versus walking faster. At some point, if you want to go faster still, you got to switch modes. You got to start running, which is biomechanically different, involving different coordinations of limbs, a moment of flight where both feet are not on the ground. You can't walk your way into running by walking faster. Speaking louder versus using an amplifier. Speaking louder is performance improvement. At some point, if you need more volume, you need a different kind of system. A microphone, speakers, maybe, a bullhorn, which work on entirely different principles than your vocal cords. Getting better at arithmetic is not the same thing as learning algebra. You can get super fast at addition and subtraction. That speed doesn't turn into the ability to manipulate variables at a different level. Algebra is a fundamentally different kind of thinking. Calculus, again, it is none of this faster arithmetic. The philosophic term ontological comes from ontology, this study of being, what kinds of things exist, what their natures are. An ontological claim is a claim about what kind of being something is, not just how it performs. So when we say a problem is ontological, we mean that the issue lives at the level of what kind of thing is happening, not at the level of how well a thing is being done. Yeah, I know, it sounds abstract, but it has really concrete implications. I've gone over some of those. If difficulty is ontological, willpower-based interventions are fucking cruel. You can't try your way out of an ontological problem. And telling someone to try harder at the wrong kind of process is like telling them to walk harder so they can run, or telling them to breathe water. They may do so very intensely, but they'll never quite do what they need to do, right? If difficulty is ontological, practice within the current mode won't help. Practicing the wrong kind of process makes you better at the wrong kind of process. If someone is reading by laborious decoding methods, they exist. Practicing that method will improve laborious decoding. It doesn't produce fluent reading, which is a fundamentally different process. If the difficulty is ontological, then intervention has to be aimed at transforming, not improvement. The question cannot be, how do one do this better? But instead, how can I do something different to get to that goal? This is why recognizing ontological problems matters in every walk of life. It changes the kind of help that is relevant, the interventions that make sense, what kind of hope is justified. Performance problems are, in one sense, friendly. They'll tell you you're on the right track. Keep going, you'll get there. Ontological problems are not this. They tell you, you are not on the fucking track at all. You need to find a different track. In fact, tracks don't work. The effort on this is not contributing to finding a track. Why are you on a track? We're not talking about trains. And this is the uncomfortable implication at the center of this. You can never tell from the inside whether your problem is performance or ontological. We feel always like we're trying. We will always feel like we're improving bit by bit. We may have metrics for it too. We believe persistence will pay off. And sometimes it does in some ways, but sometimes we're walking faster and faster, wondering why we can't fly. The Stoics had a distinction. Things up to us and things not up to us. Performance problems are roughly up to us, and that's why they're kind and nice. More effort, better technique, further practice. Ontological problems are these others. They're not up to us. They require something else happening, a reorganization, a phase transition, something that effort alone cannot force. This does not mean ontological problems are hopeless. It just means we need to fundamentally try something different. Don't try harder. Try different. Don't practice more. Look for what would have to shift for this to become a process that would work. Don't grind the set. Wait for conditions under which transformation can become possible. Identifying ontological problems is only the first step here. You cannot solve them with performance solutions, but you can address it differently.
I could run through these halls forever if you like. Be trapped in this mall together if you like. I'd love to explore the corners if you like. The music plays so loud, guiding me where I go. In this vibrant crowd, do you feel it too though? Maybe I'm just here alone, but I don't want to leave this zone. I could roam through these halls forever if you like. Be trapped in this mall together if you like. I'd love to explore the corners if you like. Every step's a mystery. Wonder what's beyond the next. Lost in this endless journey, every moment we connect. I could roam through these halls forever if you like. Be trapped in this mall together if you like. I'd love to explore the corners